Welcome to the Woodshed, a protest series of songs. We are going to be learning Data Centers by Elle Cordova. You can find her on YouTube. I believe this is only in a short for now, but I would love for her to release it on Spotify. Let's get cracking. We are over here on capo on the 8th fret. We are playing chords as though it's in the key of G, and so that means we're in the key of B flat here. So typically when she plays her G, she's going to be using her lower three fingers, not her pointer finger. So that is middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, third finger on the 3rd fret E, pinky on the 3rd fret of your high E string. Now, she does this because she's going to be doing a hammer-on maneuver. We'll talk about that in a moment. First, let's talk about the layout. This is 4 verses and an outro. The first verse and the third verse are almost identical. There's a hair of a difference between them. And then the second verse and the 4th verse are completely identical. So it goes verse style A, verse style B, verse style A, verse style B, and then the outro. So let's talk about the chords first, and then we'll get into the intricacies of it later. This is in 3/4 time, and so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is not a boom chuck pattern where it's boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, where it has that really strict waltz feel. She loosens it up by having a brush in her thumb, so she's brushing across those top 3 strings here, these bass strings that you have, and then hitting downstrokes, mostly on the top 4 strings is where she's going. Sometimes that's just 2 downstrokes, brush, 2, 3. Sometimes she adds the upstrokes inside of there, so that's brush, 2, and 3, and I would encourage you to feel it out, what works best for you. Frequently, those upstrokes are kind of ghosted, so you have kind of like that kind of thing. So let's talk about our chords first. In verse pattern A, the first line, which is going to be the first 4, I'm doing in groups of 4 measures. The first 4 measures is a G, a D, and a G again, 2 times. The next 4 is going to be G, D, E minor, C. And you're going to do that a second time. Now the 4th time around, she does this really interesting thing on the verse pattern A. And she goes G, B7, E, A. And that's the end of verse pattern A. So when she's playing that B7, she's not playing the top E string here. It never comes out as. You don't get that really high. Na, na, na. You're not getting that note. So she's really only playing these center 4 strings when she plays it. And so that means that your ring finger is going on to the 2nd fret of the A string, pointer finger on the 1st fret of the D string, ring finger on the 2nd fret of your G string. And you're only playing those center 4 strings before you go to your typical E minor shape and your A7. Please consult the page if you need additional help with chord shapes. These are all really standard cowboy chord shapes that she's using here. So all the way through verse pattern A, one more time, we have G, D, G 2 times, G, D, E minor to C. You do that again, G, D, E minor, C, and then you do the interesting thing, G, B7, E minor, A7. Now that's a really awkward place to end for a verse pattern. And that's part of what gives this song so much momentum, is she has these 4 lines, and this tells you we want to go somewhere. But then it's just right into verse number 2. It keeps you off kilter, and it really helps illuminate sort of the unsettling nature of these data centers. We'll talk more about the theory later. Verse pattern, or verse style B. We're starting the exact same way with a G to D and 2 Gs again. Now we're going to do 3 times in a row G to D to E minor to C. This is the second time. This is the third time. And then she does G, D, G 2 times. That's it. That's verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and verse 4. Verse 1 and 3 follow pattern A. Verse 2 and 4 follow pattern B. Let's really quickly go through the outro, and then we'll get into the intricacies of what she's doing. The outro is centered on the 4th, and so we're working around this C shape. We have C 2 times, and then G, and then D. And she does that 3 times. And then she has 2 more lines after that where she goes into an E minor 2 times in a row, A7 2 times in a row, then G, D, G. That's the whole song. Verse 1, 2, 3, 4, and outro. That's the simplified version. Now, on to the details. In that first line of every single verse where we're going G once, D once, and G twice, she's hammering on those notes that are typically in the 4th chord. You're kind of flirting with the C for a brief moment on beat 3. So you're keeping this G shape with your ring finger and your pinky. You're still holding those on the 3rd fret, but that leaves your pointer and your and your middle finger open to hammer on. Pointer finger hammers on the B string on the 1st fret, and on the D string, your your middle finger hammers onto the 2nd fret there. If you just need to practice that a couple times, holding these 2 down, do that a few times. Now the rhythm on that is you're hammering down on beat 3, but you're strumming on the and of 2. So you're going 1, 2, and hammer. Beat 1, 1, 2, and hammer 1. 1, 2, and hammer 1. 1, 2, and hammer 1. That's how that goes. So the way that first line of every single verse goes is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and hammer 1. Now, on verse style B, where we end with the exact same G, D once, and G 2 times, there she does that little riff at the end of the verse pattern B. Now, in verse 1 specifically, there are 2 things that are different. For one thing, she's really accenting this maneuver that's happening on the G chord, which is when she brushes, she's hammering down on the A string. So you leave it open at first, and then you hammer it down on the 2nd fret. And you get that doo. And so that's the sound that you're looking for in verse 1. The other weird thing about verse 1 is that she doesn't go straight into the long chord progression, G, D, E minor, C. She actually delays that. So she does the same line 2 times in a row. It's G, D, G, and the riff. Again, D, and the riff. Now, it gets a little complicated trying to think about, oh, verse 1 is unique from verse 3, and those are both unique from verse 2 and verse 4, which happen to be the same. I group them in style A and style B because it's a lot easier for my brain to say, hey, there's this exception, and the rest is the same, rather than trying to memorize it as groups of 16 measures. But that's what's happening there. Now, there's a little melody that happens at the end of verse 2. And here's how you play that. So you're playing off of a G shape here, and you're going. If you want to take a look at my fingers here, it's open G string. Our bass note is the low E string, and you go 1 E, do really fast from the G string to the B string, and then you're landing on the 3rd fret of the B string there. And then you can brush, you can strum, or you can just pluck, but you're getting the high E open. I like to do it on a brush. So you're still accenting that note and bringing it out, but you're adding a little bit of extra harmony on top of there. Now, this is still thinking in a G shape, but she's repositioning because we're moving our bass tone down to the B there. And so we don't actually need to have our finger on the low E anymore. We're going to have it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and we're going to prep our melody note, which is the 2nd fret on the G string. And that just goes B open to the G string on the 2nd fret. So we have G, B, 3rd fret B, open E, and then we have our fingers prepped in that new position. Our bass note we pinch with the high B string there, and we hit the G string. And then she does a hammer on the D string to the 2nd fret. D open, hammer, G string. And then you land on a brush on that low 3rd fret on the E string. It's an E flat. I'm getting annoyed calling it a G, but it's a G shape, and so you're playing your low G. And ideally, you're hitting that D open again so that you get this sound, which is D, hammer, G, D. But she's brushing off of that. And then she hits that riff again. That little hammer-on C riff thing. So, all together, that melodic concept at the end of verse 2 is open G, open B, 3rd fret B, brush to the high E, prep your fingers, and you got open B, 2nd fret G string, hammer 2nd fret on the D string, open G, brush on the 3rd fret on your low G, and then you riff. And that's the whole song. If you got any questions, feel free to shoot them my way. There should be a link to a PDF that has all of the chords sitting right there and a tablature with the melody. Great job, Elle. This is a killer protest song. I'm really happy to include it in my series. Have a good one, guys.